Geo-Negative axis. Uddhav, shamanic, you know it from my book. If you haven't got it yet, or if you haven't, read me online and stuff, you're missing out. Because what they're not telling you is that knowledge is everything. They're tricking you. They say, follow my process. Look what I did. But we all know it's bullshit. These guys are capable of even giving people UBI, which is like, $1,000 a month or something, which lasts like a week or two. People live. People go out and live. Do things that the world has to offer, so to say. Nothing. So, instead of doing that and running around for no knowledge, let's try to get into some real knowledge. This is the Bhagavad Gita. It's the original print of Prabhupada, as it is. He was a real person. Prabhupada was serious. He was like, he had a little difference in political things than a lot of people, but not a lot of people, and a few people, very few people. But, nonetheless, he was the avatar. He did deliver the message. He did do things for the divine. So, we're going to give it a random Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Well, it looks like divinity wants me to spark on the idea of the divisions of faith. So this is what I have to do right now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranjoganayarotamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Uligrahit Nastapreshu Apadreshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevayam Bhagavati Tishmagya Vinashtaki Ayu Shatva Bararogya Sukapriti Vivardhana Rasyaha Shnigda Shtiraridya Aharaha Satvika Priyaha Khattamala Lavanati Ushna Tikshna Riksha Vidahina Ahara Rajasa Syeshta Dukashukha Yogamaya Pradaha Yatayamam Gatarasam Utiparyushitam Chayat Uchishtam Api Chamedhyam Bhojanam Damasa Priyam. Foods in the modes of goodness increase the duration of life. This is knowledge. Pay attention. Purifies one's existence and gives strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such nourishing foods are sweet, juicy, fattening, and palatable. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, pungent, dry, and hot are likely liked by people in the mode of passion. Such foods cause pain, distress, and disease. Food cooked more than 3 hours before being eaten, which is tasteless, stale, putrid, decomposed, and unclean, is food liked by the mode of ignorance. So all you long cookers, be careful. It's tasteless, it's stale, putrid, decomposed, and unclean. We know what kind of food that is. So, it says right here, fatty foods mentioned in the 8 verses have no connection with animal fat obtained by slaughter. Animal fat is available in the form of milk, which is the most wonderful of all foods. This is Prabhupada's purport. Milk, butter, cheese, and similar products and give animal fat in a form which rules out any need for the killing of innocent creatures. It is only through brute mentality that this killing goes on. The civilized method of obtaining needed fat is by milk, slaughter in the way of subhumans. protein is amply available through split peas, dal, whole wheat, etc. So, the idea is everybody's eating. And we don't know why, most of the time. But here it says you can get all the good things just from the right diet, from eating the right foods. The most goodness foods are foods that are not killed. These are not, as you says you heard. And they're not dead, especially. So you have to realize, also there's a verse that says, if you don't, don't understand what makes you satisfied, then just try to understand everything is already coming from your body. So when you take something, it's only the effect that it will have is only from what you ate or how your body is functioning. So even if you take the best effort, whatever it is, stimulant they have out there, it won't do anything if your body is not, let's say, relishing. And that's why people right away, they go to the mode of passion to enjoy when they're intoxicated. Because they can't enjoy just even that. They don't have the capability because their food could be lacking or their lifestyle, over passionate. If you're too passionate, then your body can't really enjoy things, believe it or not. You're too overindulgent. You're tasting too much of the, let's say, the good stuff. If you always taste the good stuff and you don't taste a little bit of the other things like hard work, like honesty, like the good things in life, like helping others in need, okay, helping those you don't want to help but you know you should, all those things can help you, but not necessarily everybody does them. And this is why we have to be more affirmative on what we're doing. The world needs a good diet. We need non-GMO food. We need non-animal food available, okay? Eating carcasses is not helping anybody. All it does is enrage people and not give them the intelligence to deal with suffering. That's exactly what it's doing. It gives them the term of endearment that if I don't get solutions, this life is not worth it because I'm suffering with this diet. This diet is not giving me happiness. So that is what's happening. That's really what's happening. People don't understand why they're not happy. They say, they did it. They did it. They're not making us happy. It's true, some people are not. Some people are not trying to make anybody happy but themselves. And that's why religiosity, like Jesus and others, we need to go back to. We need to understand what they were saying and take it more seriously. Not to be a goody-good-shoe, but to run society right. To make society a place where the souls, the good souls want to come. You don't want to be on the bad list. You don't want the baddest soul. You don't want no spiritual energy. The ancestors knew that the age has fallen. So what they would try to do is bring the age back, and then, with the ages back, build the pyramids. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of their ideas were wrong, and they didn't last, and they got conquered. So anyway, let's go on to the next. The Geo-Negative axis, before I get tired here. And, hashtag Nectar, hashtag GNA, Geo-Negative axis. Get the book if you haven't. It'll help your life. I guarantee it. Okay? Because knowledge is the only thing. All this other stuff they're telling you, not going to help you. Do it my way. I always thought that I wasn't going to be anything. And then I walked up and I read this book. Bullshit. Okay? And knowledge. If it doesn't have knowledge, it doesn't have science, it is bogus. Okay? What another person does has nothing to do with you. Their karma, their genetical composition has nothing to do with you. But knowledge is universal, and that is how they got what they have, unless it was directly given, which is definitely happening these days. That's why it's a rigged market. That's why Americans going nuts. Nobody wants a rigged market. People want freedom, especially in this country. We're born for it. If there's anything we're born in this country for, it's freedom. That's America. And the rest of you guys, look it up. Oh man, that was still cool. All right, so here we go. Here we go. I'm going to start on the Troposphere ascension brink. That sounds like a good one. The troposphere, or the middle point or threshold point, is the most definitive part of the Geo-Negative axis equation, or intentional substantive of existence. It separates all things accordingly, and it defines the measurement and middle point. In order to properly measure something, you must use the center of its function and its existentiality to equate response and equation. The moment a thing comes to its function or intended ascension from its set discourse or frame of existence, it has now, with the aid and thwart of the geo-negative axis, performed a function and intricacy actuate. We understand the troposphere in a much thinner air realm, and it's more soluble with matter for us to determine as light's existence in our realm changes when it reaches down on Earth. The sun is the life-giving energy, and the troposphere is where it is most energetic. But right away, it is less. Right away, it is less for us being. It isn't hard or watery like ourselves. This also defines our separation of existence with the light that creates us, and how we are different from it as being a result of it and not a continuation of it. This also defines our separation of existence with the light. So a result of light, we're not a continuation of light. That's the idea. So GNA is trying to get the continuation of light in things. What is continuing? When the two cars hit, there's still a continuing energy. That's the GNA. That's what made that energy go. So we understand it as waves, and that's why they made this wave detector, because I am the one that showed them. And the California people took credit. 3 people that are anti-Catholic, anti-Christ, took my credit on 2017. This is true for the Nobel Prize of Metaphysics, because I came out with the review that was just right here, that waves are detectable. So the ascension bring point then is us being separated from the dull matter and entering light. Whether it's an amazing feat we performed or a simple jovial smile that in return brings the person and onlookers into a new understanding of matter as alive and active, able to produce sensation. It is where the purity of our energy and underlying existence is more pronounced and assessed. So this idea, right, tropospheric ascension brink. Because why is it the most definitive? It separates things all accordingly, and it defines the management and middle point. So how do we define things? Is by the middle point, by the troposphere. The troposphere is where the atmosphere where we are before it becomes a stratosphere, which is like going into space. So right before, between our 2 layers, there is a troposphere of like a mile long or something. It lasts a while until it's pure stratosphere, and before it's below pure atmosphere. So in the beginning, there's a troposphere that's created by the 2. So that's the middle point. You see what I'm saying? So it's like if you don't get to the end, the middle becomes your finishing point, and that's what I explained before. That's by nature. You can't even. It says you don't have to test it. So as I'm explaining these points, and as we said, underlying existence is pronounced and assessed. So when we understand the middle point of things, then we can understand and we can measure things. So if you have a middle, if you just did, what they were doing is they would just have the end and the beginning. But where is the actual middle? If you just go from the middle, and the middle is huge. There's a middle. You have to look into the whole energy, the whole thing of things, right? So if you look into a whole thing, there's going to be a middle point to everything. Even how a person walks, how the sun and the earth are meeting, and then there's a meeting point of them in that middle point. So that middle point will help us define things. That's what that verse is saying. Another modern example of a middle point. Let's say, middleman. What is a middleman? A middleman is a broker, a person who gets things done. So without that broker, the 2 people don't know where to meet. One person has the product, the other person has the desire to buy. They don't know where to meet. They're walking, missing each other every day. So how to make those 2 meet is the middle point. That's how serious the middle point is and can be. So we have to also understand the troposphere. Now, if we want to understand energy, we have to understand the middle point. How does things become another thing? That's really what science, if you want to know anything about. So if you understand how that works, then you can trace energy. So if anybody's doing this research and they're tricking you, they're using it for themselves. Just going to let you know. So the public doesn't know about GNA research because it can save you all. Because just what I explained, if you understand science. So if I understand how things work because of the middle point, then I can You know what I mean? Then you can reassert. We can even fix people that have ailments, that have problems. But we don't just fix. We have to heal them first. We have to find how they got this karma. We have to purify them. So these things are all left out. The spiritual esoteric aspect is left out of society. To rely on faith. Not even faith, belief. Faith is something else. Even Jesus explained. People that have real faith, they're much more attuned, much more higher at this. So yeah, GNA, as I said, is for the many, and it's to help others only. Okay? People trying to take GNA, use it for their own, they're wrong. I have not given it to anybody or permission. Alright? It is the conclusion of what all these scientists, philosophers, believers were looking for throughout history to explain creation properly. Okay? Now we got details here, light and other things, but to properly term it from our perspective, from us standing facing out, it is negative to us. No matter what we do, we have to die. No matter what we do, we have to exhale. No matter what we do, we have to, you know what I mean? So we have to accept those facts and move on. Life is not that hard. If you can accept knowledge, then you can make things easier for yourself and not be so worried by divine chance or somebody else's whim. Someone else's whim can surely fail us. In the light of so, the Lord Jesus, showed that. What did he show? The whim of others can fail. It failed them. They needed Jesus for many years more to help the world. But he had to leave. He had to end his classes. All because an aristocracy couldn't handle anything. And even, anger. First of all, you don't say, hey, everybody get angry, then we're going to judge this person. That's not how it works. Actually, you're supposed to see the evidence, see what they did good, see why they did it. Mainly it's the intention. Then when you have all those things, then you can say what is what. Without those things, you can never say what is what. And that's where they go wrong. Because even if you present me all the bad things they did, that anger can maybe last a little time. But I should never judge on that anger, because that's an anger. That's not mode of goodness. What am I bringing about? I'm bringing about more mode of passion. So by doing that to Jesus, all they did was cast about, push them away, and they lessened their own education, their own environment. And if they worked together, they might have found their Geo-Negative axis back then. But lo and behold, here we are. And it is your Savior. Thank you very much. Geo-Negative axis at gmail.com. If you haven't subscribed, get into it. GNA is the way.